All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started with this video. And thank you for joining me in the studio this evening. And this evening, I'm going to be painting. Where is it at? That picture up there, that is some Maoi. And I'm hoping to do this painting justice. They look like fun statues to paint. I've quickly drawn it out here on my page. You can see some lines there. I've drawn it very lightly. Carrie Hall is here. Hello from Australia. Welcome. Thank you for joining me in the studio this evening for me, this morning, this afternoon for you, I believe. So we're going to get started with those. The paper that I'm using, a few things to get out of the way. The paper that I'm using is Fabriano paper, studio paper. My paints over here on my right hand side are all my M-Gram paints. I can run those colors for you on the bottom of the screen if you'd like. It's in my color around tray, and for the most part I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using my King Art brushes. King Art, if you're watching, love your brushes. I think that is all of that out of the way. I got a few viewers in here. Just want to throw it out there. If you have any questions about my art, how I paint, why I paint the way I paint, or me, whatever, throw it out there. I love answering questions. I'm pretty much not afraid of anything. So I'll just throw it out there like that. And I'm going to kind of start at the top of this painting and go from there. I'm going to paint the sky first. Just a little bit of blue. I'm using cerulean blue for my sky. And you can see I'm painting way up here. The horizon line, actually I'll just go right over top of that. The horizon line on the reference photo is pretty low. It's about halfway down the page, and I just didn't want to have my horizon line halfway down, so I've moved it arbitrarily. I've actually done a couple of things to this image, which I'm happy to show you that I've done. There we go. If I turn this around, I've got an instant sky up there just from putting a little bit of color on. Thirsty for a Brew is here. Welcome, my friend. Always good to have you here in the studio with me. So, one of the things I've done, I guess I should say, is I've moved that horizon line way up to the top. You see in the reference photo, actually, let's do it this way. Let's see, reference photo. There you go. You can see in the reference photo, that horizon line is almost bang on right in the middle of the picture. And I didn't want it in the picture. And so I've risen that up a little bit. And then the other thing is that those four heads really are right in a line. They are right in a line, and there's not that big of a difference between them. But what I have done, and you can't see it, you can see it a little bit. I've made this head much bigger. It's almost, I don't know, a third bigger than it is in the reference photo, and the other ones kind of trail behind a little bit, kind of give it a little bit more dramatic, like a little angle that's coming towards the viewer. Jacqueline DePonce is here. Good evening. Wonderful to see you this evening. Thank you for joining me in the studio. Okay, I am going to grab a number 8 brush here. I'll tell you, tonight it seems like I'm, I don't know how quickly I normally speak or anything, but tonight it seems like I'm really talking quickly. So if I'm going too fast or something, please somebody just yell at me to to calm down for a second. It sounds like, seems to me like I am talking a million miles an hour. All right, I'm going to go right around these heads, just however I can, with a mix of burnt umber and um, burnt umber and yellow ochre. I don't want to use either of these alone because I think the burnt umber is just going to be a little too brown, right? And I think the yellow ochre is going to be a little too bright. But I think a little mix of the two of them together is probably going to be a nice color. I mean, look at the color that we're looking at over there. That's a pretty bright color. Who else is here? Oh, Jacqueline's saying good evening. You made it. Yeah, you made it. You did make it. I'm glad you made it. I'm happy when anybody comes to my live streams because, I say it all the time to everybody. It's so much more enjoyable to do this when there are a few people here and we can start to have a discussion about things. If I wanted to do this, just sit down and make a video, I would just sit down and make a video, and it would just be me here in the studio. But having you guys here really does, for me, make it an experience. Helps make my Wednesday nights much more enjoyable. I hope that I help to make your Wednesday nights a bit more enjoyable. And like I said last week, boy, I had a bit of a tough week last week, and I came on here, and you guys really, you really went out of your way and made me feel good on a Wednesday evening. I went to bed having a good feeling about the live stream. Liza is here. Hello. Hello. So I'm probably going to tell you again before the stream is over, but I just want to say thank you to you all here for helping to make my Wednesdays an enjoyable way to end my day. I hope I do the same for you all. We've got a few more people coming in the chat now, and I just want to reiterate that, if somebody hasn't been here before, go ahead and say hello. I like to meet people in the chat. Not required, right? You don't have to say hello. You don't have to talk. You don't have to say anything. But we're all pretty friendly here, and I'd like to say hi to you and invite you to ask any questions if you have any. I've gotten a lot of help in my artistic career and with my watercolors. I've had a lot of people reach out and try to help me along and explain a few things to me and tell me, give me some pointers and tips and whatnot. So I'm always willing to do that for you all. If anybody has any questions, or maybe you don't have any questions about art, or me, or anything like that. But you just have some questions in general. You want to just have a regular discussion like it's whatever. How are things going this week? How are things going this week? You mean with my job and everything like that? I'm happy to talk to you about it. I actually had a lovely part of the weekend with my kids. My son and I, let's see, this was 2 weekends ago. We found some free pavers on Craigslist, and we went and got 100 of them. And I'm talking 1 foot hexagonal tiles. We got 100 of them. Filled up the back of my wife's minivan with them. Probably hurt her suspension a little bit, but we're just going to gloss over that. We moved them, and then this weekend we built out kind of I guess it's like about an 8 foot by 9 foot by 8 foot pad on the side of our little patio. We had just a like an 8x8 concrete slab on our patio. So we took some of those pavers and built out another like 9 feet. I think is about what it was, 9 feet on the side of those. So that was fun. That took a couple of hours for the kids and I to work through that. That was fantastic. So that's kind of a personal thing. As far as work goes, last week I talked about how tired I was and have a newer-ish, I guess I should say at this point. It's not a new position at work at this point. I've been doing it for a couple of months, but a relatively new position at work and still learning the intricacies of it, the ins and outs, the hows, the whys, all that kind of stuff. And from time to time, it's a lot. That's okay. I don't mind. Thankfully, I'm busy the whole day. Much rather be busy than not. So I'm going to say that. But today, I sat in a seminar. I'm sorry, trying to draw a straight line. Sat in a seminar for the vast majority of the day. And that, anybody who's had to do that for work in any way, shape, or form, that comes with its own challenges. You're holed up in a room with, well, in this case, it was about 20 of my closest friends, 20 of my closest work friends, and we all talked about how to make our work better, not only for us, but for our workmates, those folks that work with us. Had some really nice discussion about that. Very much enjoyed quite a lot of that discussion. But again, it's a lot sometimes. It's a lot to take in. It's kind of like driving, right? Driving is a funny thing. You get in your car, your truck, or whatever kind of vehicle you have, and you drive to the store, and you don't think anything about it. But if you've got to drive cross country, across the state or the province, or whatever type of designation something is in your area. Right here in the U.S. Carrie, what do you guys have in Australia? You don't have states, do you have provinces? What do you call the individual areas, right? The U.S., we have different states, California, Ohio, where I'm from, right? Michigan, Pennsylvania, all around there. Did I paint over this guy's head? Oh, I think I did a little bit. Let me see if I can get that off of there. Oh, that's horrible. I did. I can see it. But if you have to drive a long distance for anything, has anyone been to Maui? I have been to Maui. But anyway, I sat in the seminar all day today. If you have to be in a car, this is my analogy, you drive for hours and hours and hours, and you get tired, and you're just sitting there, right? You're not really doing anything, but you get tired just by the mere fact that you're sitting there. I don't know how to describe it. Anyways, so that's where I'm at. So today was a long day, just for the fact that I sat in on that seminar. We had like I said, some really nice discussion, but anything like that starts to get long. All right, I got a little bit of water here, right? I painted in some water, done a little negative painting, and maybe this part didn't come out so good. But this will lighten up, and then we'll be able to go back and put some darker stuff on here. We'll put some waves over here, right? It's just a little bit where it laps up against the shore, not too much. And we're basically on our way to getting this done. Let's see. Liza says, has anyone ever been to Maui? Um, Jacqueline says, you are awesome. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. You can't talk about stuff and paint simultaneously. Sometimes talking and painting is difficult. I've not been to Maui, but have friends who've been there for some time and are now back in my hometown. Gary, you live in country Victoria, and you're finers. Let's see, and Liza says, Michael, I struggle with negative painting tips, please. Well, maybe I should do a whole nother negative painting. Negative painting is its own thing. I mean, this is just going around some basic shapes, so this really isn't that hard. But real negative painting, where it gets layer on layer, is kind of difficult. But I do want to get back to your other question. I have been to Maui. I went, and yeah, I'm basically stalling and waiting for this to dry a little bit. I went about 5 or 6 years ago now, and it was odd to see Maui having been burned now, because when I was there, I was in Lahaina. I sat underneath that tree. The dock that is burnt down and the boats that are literally melted in the water right there, I got on a boat at that dock. The King's summer house, which was right there in Lahaina, I walked through that. I saw all of the artifacts that are there. So for me, it was really kind of distressing to see that whole thing burnt to the ground in the way that it was. So I'm really saddened about that. I'm hoping that when everybody builds back, they will build back in some semblance of the way it is, the way it was then. Let's see. Thirsty says, Wikipedia says Australia has 6 states and 10 territories. Liza, there's a lot of stuff online that happened. Was nefarious? Okay, I'm not I'm not getting into nefarious and evil, whether it was or whether it wasn't. I don't have any interest in getting into that. I will just say it's sad that it's gone from the way it was. I hope it can be rebuilt. Similarly, because it was that area really was a pretty special place to go and to visit, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, I've got this island that's way back there. If I turn it around the right way, you can probably see it there. It's way back there, right? Let's see. Susie says, where did I live in Ohio? I'm going to visit friends in Cedarville. I didn't live anywhere near Cedarville. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, a little town that is almost exactly halfway between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a lovely place. I like it very much. I don't know that everybody likes it. That's okay. But I like it very much. The name of the town, the little town that I grew up in, and I think the population really was only kind of 1,000, 2,000. It wasn't very much, right? The little town I grew up in is a little place called Lordstown, Ohio, right? Lordstown, Ohio, home of General Motors plant, or at the time, a General Motors plant. It has since gone out of business. It has been purchased by, well, the plant has been purchased by two different companies. One is a an electric vehicle manufacturer, and they are called, are you ready for this? It's in Lordstown, Ohio. They're called Lordstown Motors. Very original. I don't know how they ever came up with a name for that. And then the other company that has moved in there into basically the same building is Foxconn, the electronics manufacturer. And as I understand, they are building all kinds of electrical components there, and soon to be building batteries there. Okay, so what I'm doing here, you see these distant hills that I'm painting, albeit upside down, right? And I'm sorry for that, but it's easier for me to do a hard line this way, to use the tip and the point of the brush rather than the barrel of it. So I do turn my brush quite a bit. I'm sorry, I do turn my page quite a bit. So you just have to bear with me for a second or two, and we'll get past all of this stuff. There we go. I'm just putting on one layer of paint here, one coat of paint, and I want to get it all, it's roughly all that same color, and then we'll come back and we'll add some additional color to it. And we'll push some of it back and we'll pull some of it forward, and we'll do with it what we need to do. How was the food on Maui? Do I remember any wonderful cuisine? I don't think I do remember any wonderful cuisine. We went to a luau, right? And that was interesting. But we went there and got our own. We actually got a B&B on Kapalua Golf Course for two reasons. One is I like to golf, and so it was nice to have a golf course right there, and two, so that we could make a lot of our own food. My kids, at least at the time, were not overly adventurous in what they eat or what they ate. They were smaller kids, and so that, whatever happens. So we weren't gonna force them to eat a bunch of strange foods that they weren't going to like. So we did a lot of our own cooking while we were there. So I can't, it's probably not really a fair question, because we didn't do some of that that dining that maybe we would be we would normally have done. Do I have any memories of there? Yeah. So my favorite memory of the whole trip was not even on Maui. We went over to Lanai. No. Yeah, we went over to Lanai. That's the next island over, right? We went over to Lanai, and it's literally like the land that time forgot. We rented the only rental car, I believe, on the island. And we drove out to a place called the Garden of the Gods, which is, you think of Hawaii as being lush and tropical and green, and this was, it looked much like this. It was desertous. There were rocks strewn everywhere. There were no plants growing anywhere. It was really interesting. And then, of course, we had to go to the cat sanctuary out there, which was a lot of fun. The cats were fantastic. Let's see, I'm trying to think what to do with these guys here. I've struggled with this. I'm going to change gear on you a little bit. Oh, Sherry's here. Hello. um, and, and Liza, you say that's fun. I had different experiences. I did. I remember going out onto the golf course at night and catching toads. Right, they had these giant toads that would come out, and so I'd go out for a walk and catch these, or at least hunt them down and play with them for a little bit. The kids and I. We went snorkeling, and I got to snorkel with a couple of sea turtles. That was pretty special. So yeah, I mean, there were lots of cool experiences that I had there. Not too many um, around food though. I will admit there weren't too many around food. Okay, that's not quite dry yet. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with these heads. So, what do you think? A reference photo there, it really is, it's almost a true ochre color. I could do it that ochre. I think it would stand out, especially given the fact that actually look at how cool this looks with these different colors in here and lighter and darker and everything. They really could stand out. Let's do that. Let's just go with a straight ochre. I think it'll really stand out. My only concern is that this M-gram ochre it's a bright ochre color, but I would like these to stand out. So let's just give a quick layer of color on here, and as they dry, we're gonna pop on just a little bit more. Right? We'll use the drying time to think about what we're going to do on each of these, but I want to add in a little bit of darkness, where the eyes are underneath the brow and inside the ear. Oh, somebody's got a good question here. What's the question? Why did I choose Easter Island to paint? Why did I choose this to paint? Well, so if you read the description, and if you didn't, that's fine. You'll see that I got this painting from Peter Pav on Paint My Picture, PMP-art. Right? I think I've talked about that site before. PMP art. It's just a place where photographers go and they put their um, um, uh, digital artwork, their photos for anybody to paint, and they have groups where they get tips and whatnot to help them with their digital art. And then painters like myself can grab images and paint them, and it's all royalty free or whatnot, and everybody who has something on there knows that somebody else might use it, and that's all well and good. But every month they do a challenge, right? A site wide, anybody can get to it, and this month's challenge was like strange things. Not Stranger Things like the TV show, but strange things or strange objects or something like that. And one of them was this. I know, well, that's kind of an interesting a painting. I wonder what it would turn out like if I grabbed this and tried to do it. And so there's no real scientific reason why I grabbed this. I just thought it was kind of a neat image, and it'll help me with that challenge, and we'll get to have some fun painting an interesting kind of an image. And so, if you haven't seen it, let's see, PMP art, yeah, PMP art, right? It's a The site was started by a guy called Ray Davies, and he is an artist of some renown in Great Britain. And he started as a way to help people share their knowledge of things. And so it was not long after, and I don't know how I heard about it actually, but I found out about the site and joined up. And it's free to join. Anybody can join. Doesn't it's never has cost anything. But you get some good advice on how to do some things, and you can take it. And if you like it, awesome, right? Everybody's willing to help out a little bit here and there. And if you don't take anybody's advice, nobody seems to mind, because there is a big part to being an artist that entails you trying and discovering things on your own. But but I will say I have found that site to be, especially when I was just learning and trying to figure out who I am as an artist and the things I like to paint, and how my painting style kind of fits in with me, and all of that learning about myself as an artist. I went through a lot of that on PMP art, so they've been very good to me over the years. And I early on I started doing a couple of their challenges. I'll be honest with you. Um, I did a couple of their challenges, and I just did terrible on them. I Sometimes the pictures aren't good because the photographers. What's going on? The photographers are learning also, right? So sometimes you might want to take a picture and modify it a little bit. Nobody's gonna mind if you do that. It's part of the artistic process to take a little liberty. Um, but all in all, it's a nice place to go and to get some feedback and some practice. Good choice for strange things. Who said that? Susie. Jacqueline, you've painted some of their images, but forgot to share. You gotta share. I think this will be painting the shading, and it'll give the faces dimension. This painting is all about bringing these faces to life. That's all it's going to be about. And now that I'm painting this head, the big one here, I think I should have made this even larger. I think I should have pushed this, probably made this like even 50% larger than it is now. I think would have been a little bit better. But that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna paint what we got, and we'll go. We'll go there. Please tell us about your learning about myself as an artist. Oh man. Um, I will, if you're gonna open the door for me to do that. You gotta you. It's gonna be like 20 minutes. I started. Well, before I start that, let me look to see if anybody else has any other questions. The shading is starting to make these come to life a little bit. I know I'm moving it around quite a bit. So once I get done with this guy, the first layer on this guy, this will stop, and then we'll be able to see a bit better. So before I talk about my journey as a watercolor artist, which I'm happy to talk about. Let me see. Um, Liza, you're gonna join Skillshare. I don't know anything about Skillshare. I've been wanting to put videos on there. I just haven't. I don't think I've really even used Skillshare, so I don't have a whole lot of advice for you on that. A lot of YouTubers speak very highly of Skillshare for their watercolor journeys. Okay, I totally could see that. Um, because it's almost, if you take a whole course, it's curated like a course, like an online course, and so you can really dive down into some of the things that you like in watercolors. So I can totally see why people do like it. And you can also just take one-off classes. I do know that. Okay, so my my journey in coming to a realization of who I am as a watercolor artist. Um, right, I think I've told everybody before. I started by doing just simple things as a way to decompress after a long day of work, and I never expected to do much of any kind of real, artistic anything. It was just something I started on a whim and thought it would be fun to do, and kind of started, playing with things. I bought a cheap set of paints and had some fun doing it. And my wife, who who I'm going to say is an actual artist. Okay, right? She went to art school and has a degree in art and can tell you more about any artist alive or dead than I ever could. And yes, I understand that doesn't necessarily make anybody an artist or anything, but it does give a good general background, and it helps you along the way. Oh, I like the I like the way this guy's starting to look here. It's looking good. Um, she's kind of the one who pushed me into kind of developing my art talent a little bit, if you can call it talent. Her assertion, and mine to some extent, is that being an artist is a lot of work and a little talent. And that's not to say that everybody who puts in some time is going to be the greatest artist in the world, but I think anybody who's willing to put in some time is going to be able to become a good artist, right? And they will be able to produce things that they're proud of, much more than putting some colors together and then getting frustrated because it doesn't turn out, the way you want it to look. Something is not right, and so you get frustrated with it, right? You're going to have all of that regardless. But she really encouraged me to move ahead with my artwork. And, being a good husband, and at that time, recently married, recently, a few years before I really got into it, wanting to show her that I had some ability in, in the art area. I wanted to prove my worth by conquering several different styles, right? Okay, cool. I can paint in this style and I can paint in that style. So I'd come out here to the studio, and at the time my studio was, it really was just a desk in my garage. And I would paint what I liked for a while. And I like doing uh, graded washes. And I like variegated washes. I like doing this stuff here where I can put down a little color and I can pull it out. I can pull this color out. And I would have swatches and paths and all kinds of things where I would just play with the colors and do this and that. And then I would go, oh, okay, now I have to find out if I can paint like so and so. And I'd watch a video and I would try to duplicate what they do. And then I'd try to put my own spin on it, not knowing at the time what my own spin was. And a lot of things turned out, let's just say, not brilliantly, right? There was a lot of struggling. And it took me, I'm going to say, because I was so focused on trying to do what others had done and not doing what I necessarily liked to in my watercolor paintings, I bet it took me the better part of 4 or 5 years to realize that what I was doing wasn't what I liked to do. You're a duplicator, but you suck. I doubt it. I doubt it. And I would duplicate a painting, or whatever you want to call it, right? I would copy something that somebody had done, and everybody would kind of go, "Hey, yeah, that's nice." And then I would kind of do something that I liked, and people would go, "Oh, that's kind of neat. I like that." And so over time, over quite a long time, I kind of went, why am I, other than for the sake of learning, right? Because I don't think we should totally get away from doing copies of other things. Part of that is stretching who we are as an artist, and part of that is, still that experimentation that I don't think we should ever get away from. But in general, right, I should never have gotten away from doing some of those paintings that I liked, right? So I think I went for 2 years, roughly, where I painted birds. I didn't paint much but birds. Because, you know what? I like birds. Birds are pretty cool. And so I kept painting birds. And my first ones were, well, they were less than stellar. Let's just leave it at that. Right? But eventually I was like, wait a minute. I can take this bit that I did great on this one. I can take this bit that I did great on that one. And putting those together, I started to develop my style of painting. And you've all seen how I paint. I don't try to duplicate anything. I've taken that out of my thought process, right? I don't care to duplicate anything. I want to pay homage to some things. Right? There might be a lot about a particular painting that I want to bring to the forefront, but trying to duplicate something that somebody else has done is pretty tough. So I try not to do that. And I try to incorporate into all of my paintings those things that I really like to do. And whether that be a lot of these graded washes, you'll see probably more graded washes in my stuff than you see in a lot of other people's. But in addition to that, in addition to just those things that I think I do well, I only try to paint stuff that really kind of tickles me in some way, or, makes me interested in something. And I will be honest with you, that has caused a slightly different bit of issue in my painting. Right? What do you do? I'm fairly prolific, or have been fairly prolific in my paintings. So what do you do when you paint it a lot? How do you, keep it going to make it interesting? And that's sometimes hard to figure out. Well, for me, a lot of that has been with these crazy mashup paintings that I've started doing. I started doing them 2 years ago, and they're fun. They make me laugh, and that keeps me invigorated, and that keeps me going. So part of it is painting to my particular style, and part of it is painting things that make me happy, or that I have fun painting, and that really helps me go. What's the question? What do I most want to improve on? What do I most want to improve on? My confidence. Yeah, I don't know. I would say, what do I most want to improve upon? I say my confidence, and I know that's going to sound funny because I'm sitting in front of how many people? 8 people here, and I'm painting on YouTube for however many people want to watch it. Why would I lack for confidence? But it is nerve wracking to do. Anybody can see. Anybody can criticize you. But as far as the actual painting of something goes, what do I really want to work on? What do I think I most need to improve on? I don't think I do all that well with loose painting, which is a difficult thing. Many people have trouble with that. And the other thing is, I wish I could figure out, well, there are two things. I wish I could figure out dry brush technique, because there's so many things I want to put shadows on that I have trouble, or I don't mean shadow, I mean texture on, that I have trouble with. I feel as though I have trouble with. And dry brush really would help me get some of that texture on there. And the other thing are shadows. I just feel I'm horrible with shadows. And I'm working on that. It's getting there, but still not quite where I want it to be. So I guess those would be my answers. Oh, now look, got, let's see. As long as I'm doing it, I'm learning. I need to keep busy during the winter. Okay, so I read that. I read that. As long as you're doing it, you're learning. That is true. I was duplicating it for you evolve eventually into your own. You do evolve into your, well, you can. You can evolve into your own. I don't know if I would say you definitely do. I think there are quite a few people that don't necessarily evolve into their own way, and I suspect that those people are people who get frustrated with watercolors and put it down after a while. Yeah, Eliza, you stink. All right, let's stop with the stink talk, right? Loose technique is I don't know if it's the most difficult one you can do in watercolor, because in addition to being a difficult technique to master, you have to be thinking about it as you're doing it, and that makes it even more difficult of a process to master. So let's cut ourselves a little bit of slack there for that, and realize that um, it looks incredibly simple. It looks like there's nothing to it, but let's realize it's a very advanced thing to do. Uh, uh, Loose watercolor painting. So let's just before before we're condemning ourselves too much. Who's great at dry brush? Liza, you're great at dry brush. I'm gonna have you on here and show me how to do it because I don't get it. Maybe it's my brushes, right? Maybe it's the fact that I like some water on my brush. I've water up there. I'm always dipping in. I've got this to dab off a little bit, and then I've got a napkin here. I'm always trying to be precise about the amount of moisture that's on the tip of my brush, and maybe I just don't get it dry enough. Watercolor, okay, there you go. Watercolor is the most psychological medium. Okay, I, I won't necessarily accept that watercolor is harder than any other medium because it's a learning process, and we all have to learn it. And or I guess we don't have to learn it, but when we set out to learn watercolor, that's what we agree to do, is learn water and paper and brush and paint. Right? There's a lot there, but there's a lot there for the other mediums too. So let's not condemn ourselves too much with is watercolor the hardest medium or anything like that. But I will agree it is pretty psychological. The key is no water. The key is no the key is no water to dry brush. I can't do that. I can't. I wish I could paint without first doing a pencil sketch. Okay. Do you? Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. Do you need to? Um, I never can do a good job with what someone else is painting. I'm never happy with the copy. That's because you compare. Yes, you find you compare your work to someone else's. I find my own subjects. There you go. Yeah, comparison is difficult. We all suffer from that one too. That's a hard one not to fall into. But who said? Let's see. Susie, why? Let me ask you a question, Susie. Why do you need? Why do you think it's important? I'm generally curious about that. Why do you think it's important to paint without first doing a sketch? And I'm asking because I legitimately have had this conversation with other people in the past, and my assertion was if you do a painting and you have pencil lines on it, it shouldn't matter. It's no big deal. It's part of the painting. It becomes part of the painting. It becomes, the viewer then gets kind of an insight into the artist a little bit. And so I'm kind of I'm kind of curious about it. Sure, that's my goal for 2024. Paint what's around me, my treasures. I'll totally agree with painting what's around you. I think we should. I think we should all do that. I try to go out and do some plein air painting around me. I do plenty of paintings from this area. I think that goes back to you're gonna be around those things that you like. It's painting what you like, right? You paint things in and around your home, in and around your yard. You're gonna go to a park that you like, and you're gonna paint some trees or some flowers, or you're gonna do something like that. It's about getting in touch with those things that you like quite a bit, and that's going to help you be a better artist, because if you like it, you're going to be a bit freer with it. You're not going to be as critical with yourself about how you paint it. You're going to enjoy the process a bit more. Oh, okay, Susie. Okay, that I get. Okay, you're saying you want to do it without a pencil sketch because it would help you loosen up. Okay, that is a explanation I totally understand. And if that's what you're going for, I totally get it, and I totally back you up on that. That makes sense to me. But I have had people say that you have to, in order to be a true artist, you have to be able to do a painting without a sketch. And I'm like, where did that ever come from? Nobody in their right mind has said that. I'm giving this guy a bit of a brow ridge here. If you hadn't noticed, look, it's not. It doesn't really have one on the original painting there, but I think if I give him a little brow ridge here, it'll give him a little attitude. I'm gonna do that to these other guys too. Right? Let's just give him right there. It's a little brow ridge. Right? Now it looks like he's squinting his eyes a little bit. He's got something going on there. I don't know. Let's see what this guy's got. Let's see how he looks with his a little brow ridge there. I don't. I'm looking for something. The only reason I really did this, I'm looking for something other than, just come on, focus. Other than just having some open space here on his forehead, right? We can do something a little better than just having that big old forehead there. I think that brow ridge really cuts and sets, but they do have attitude. Thank you. So this is a little bit of that artistic license I'm going to take. Whoa, that's way too much paint. This is a little bit of the artistic license I'm going to take here with these. Just give them a little bit of something there. I don't know if it's going to make it better or worse. Jacqueline, I think the sketch is too light. You limit yourself. I can see that. I don't know. I don't want to say you should or you shouldn't sketch first. Susie's point is well taken. If you want to loosen up, then doing it without a sketch is a great way to elicit that looseness, or to try to elicit a lot of that looseness. But my contention is that, hey, if you want to, if you like having those lines there, you don't have to follow the lines all the time. But if those give you a little extra help, a little extra leg up for some of those general shapes, even use them. Right? Let's use everything we can to help give us every advantage we can get while we're painting. Let's see. Sherry's got a great story. Animal Lecter says Easter Island is actually Rapa Nui. Okay, I can believe that. What's the story here? Let's see. A pig wandered into my yard and made friends with my toy dog. You took a picture and painted them. I was really happy with the result. That's great. Yes, because you experienced it. You're probably right. It meant so much to you, and probably to your dog, that that you got more out of it. You put more into it. I don't mean to say you cared more, because I'm sure you care about it anyways. But there's just, when something hits a little closer to home, we treat it a little differently. We might like to think that we don't necessarily, but we do. Okay, can I? I'm gonna get down off my soapbox now. I don't mean to. I don't mean to lecture about. I don't even know what it would be. Art philosophy, is that, if that's a thing? If it's too tight, you end up painting like a coloring book. That you can for sure. I can see where that. I will readily admit that can happen. Or you're going to end up doing what I do is, you start off doing something and you look at it and you go, yeah, I'm not sure that's what I want that to look like. And then you just kind of ignore everything. At some point, you just start ignoring what you're doing. The paint. Who said Carrie? The painting was starting to look awesome. Thank you. Let's see. We can't get a little extra color on here. So I want this to come down, but it can't be too dark down here, because I'm going to put a big bush right over there. Where are we at time-wise? Holy cow, we're an hour into this. God, it feels like 20 minutes. Okay, I want to put some. I'm going to let these heads kind of sit and dry up a little bit. Oh my God, that's just. Oh, these are so good. They look different up there than they do here. Is that Groucho Marx on the left? This one, is that Groucho? This guy's face looks like it's coming out, and this guy's face looks like it's going back in. Groucho. I could put a mustache on him that would really make him look like Groucho Marx. Shark guy. That's hysterical. This is why it's good to do something like this, right? If I don't make this look like that, it's totally not a big deal. Who cares? But this is a great painting where you can sit down and have some fun with it, and it's going to look fine, however it's going to turn out, right? You see, Liza, you see Caligula. Oh my God, Jacqueline, don't apologize for it. You're not imposing on anything. Um, I feel like sometimes, you guys are going to ask some bigger, broader questions, and I don't want to sound like I'm standing on some soapbox and saying something, but please don't stop. Look, if you're on my channel, you're allowed to ask any question you want. I'm really fine with that. I'm giving them character. I'm giving them character. Thank you. I'm giving them character. That's what they needed, was a little bit of character. Let's see. I want this to be a little darker as we move out over here. Right? As we get away from shore a little bit. Maybe just a little bit of dark right up under that island. There's some darker waters out here. Let's get a little turquoise in there too, huh? What do you say? This is Easter Island, right? That's it's in the South Pacific. You probably have some nice turquoisey water there. Oh, Jennifer's here. Jennifer, are you here on your lunch break again or on a break? You're loving the artwork. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm having fun painting this. I think it's absolutely hysterical. Everybody else is having fun on this Wednesday evening. There we go. I think I can live with that. That's some nice water out there. I can. I say I can live with that, and the first thing I do is I start touching it up. Why do I do that? I'm just gonna bring this. Maybe bring this down a little bit. That's probably gonna run all over the place. Okay, I've got some darker. Right now, I've got more of a gradient coming in here. It's not quite so flat of a wash. I like that so much better. So much better. Okay. I hope everybody has gone to Jen's channel where she had Jennifer Newman Art. She's got a channel here on YouTube, Jen's Wild About Art. So I hope you all have gone to her channel and subscribed over there. Let's see who's giving up. Carrie, I'll pull them out and get going. Wait. I don't come. Oh, I don't come. Okay, Sherry, you're saying I don't come across that way. I enjoyed the conversation. I try not to be preachy about anything. Like I said, for me, this is all one. Excuse me, one big discussion. I enjoy all of it, and I'm honestly. Oh my God, my lemonade didn't go down the right tube. Honestly, I am thankful that you all are here with me, and like I said last week, making my Wednesday evenings so enjoyable. Let's see. Great people to spend my lunch break with. Yes, exactly. Jen, if you want to, do you want to tell everybody when you are going to be live on Twitch next, or when you're going to be putting out some new videos here on YouTube? Sherry says, Carrie, you need to get it out and goof around with it. Wait. Wait. What is Carrie? What did I miss? What is Carrie doing? Look, I'm just trying to help out a fellow artist, so I would hope that somebody would do the same thing for me. And I'm happy to give you a little opportunity to put your own stuff on here. Why would I not? Let's give a little bush here. This guy's kind of hiding behind this little thing, right? Something there. Give a little, ooh, come on. A little darkness in a couple of these areas here. Right, it's got a little bush hanging out there. What kind of paints do I use? All the paints that I have here, the paints that I enjoy using most are M-Gram paints. I love my M-Gram paints. I will die with M-Gram paints in my hand. I don't know about that, but I really do enjoy my M-Gram paints. I started with these paints probably I don't know, 15 years ago. Actually, I didn't really even mean to start with these. I will be honest with you. Many of you know I work at a university, and the university that I work at was having a sale. They were getting rid of a lot of their art stuff, and the manager of the bookstore called me up and he went, "Hey, we're getting rid of a bunch of paints. If you want to come down and get them." And I went, "Oh, okay, yeah. Let me come down and see what you got down there." And by the time I got there, all that were there, I don't know what they had prior to that, but all that were there were M gram paints. I went, okay, fine. I'll buy some M gram paints. And some of them were colors that I like, and some of them were colors that I didn't like. And I took them home and started using them, and all of a sudden I was like, holy cow, these are fantastic paints. I love these paints. And so I just started using them, and I've really just been using them ever since. Like I said, I don't really have a desire to use too much of anything else. I've got other paints. I've got Daniel Smith paints. I've got Mission Gold. I've got Holbein paints. What else do I have? I've got some Sennelier. Right, I've got all sorts of different paints, but the ones I always come back to are these ones because for whatever reason, God, I really like them. Really like them. Now I know I missed a lot. I have, okay, Jen, you have a video premiere coming out at 5:15 today. It's 5:15 local Australian time, 4.5 hours from now, and that is going to be on YouTube if it's a premiere, I believe. Sherry, you say me too. I've tried others, but I'm never happy with them. I'm assuming you're talking about M gram paints. Let's see, Liza, I have one M gram paint. Is Daniel Smith the be all end all? Daniel Smith, in my opinion, is good, but like I said, I prefer these. Susie says Daniel Smith is okay, expensive. They are expensive. Well, pretty much anymore, all of the paints are pretty expensive. So I don't know that we can use that as an excuse for anything. Jennifer, you've heard a lot of great things about M gram paints. They are fantastic. Let's see why I can't. Jacqueline, you started in on oil, then acrylic. I've done, well, I guess I've done some acrylic, but not that much. Let's see, my kids got me Holbein paints for my birthday. Ooh, I do like Holbein paints. I do. I have only one issue with Holbein paints, but it's kind of a big one. And if you want me to tell you what my issue with Holbein paints are, I will. Jennifer, if you don't want to hear it, I won't say. But I would like to hear what your thoughts are about the Holbein paints after you have the opportunity to use them. Let's see. This is something on the side of the hill over here. I got to make sure I don't paint. Let's just go all the way over. Let's do that. Let's send that all the way up there. There we go. And a little dark. I don't know. Down there. And over here. You have to give me a second. it's sometimes funny because I want to read the comments over here, but I have to I do have to pay attention to what's going on. on my paint over here. So just give me 1 second. This is something on the other side of that hill there too, right? Kind of on the water side. This maybe it's growing up. Ooh, I didn't want that. Growing up from the other side. Let's give the indication of some lines in here. It's growing out a little bit. And maybe just a little pop of some yellow in here somewhere. Just to take the edge of that blue off of there. I put a bit of blue on there. I like that. I like that. Let's get it going. There we go. All right, cool. I like that. What are my issues with Holbein? So my issue with Holbein is, and this is completely opposite to my issue with M. Graham with Mission Gold. Holbein paints have a lot of different pigments in them. And I think, right, that if you use them and you use them in their color as they come out of the tube, they're wonderful. They're fantastic. I don't have a problem with them in that instance. But if you like to mix colors, then in my opinion, right, and take that for what it's worth, that and $3.50 will buy you a cup of coffee. When you start to mix them up very much, then they pretty quickly start to muddy down, and you lose a lot of that high value of the color of them. They dull down, and I don't know. I used them for quite a while, and I couldn't get the luminosity, the brightness out. Luminosity is not the right color. I couldn't get the brightness out of them that I could out of others, and I think it's because, like I don't know. Actually, give me a second. Okay, so here's Mission paints. Oh, they don't. And I don't. My M. Graham paints must be in the back of my car. But the Mission paints, most of them have. This is all we really need out of here. Most of them, and you can buy all of them that are single pigment colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 out of 24. Well, this one's not great either. But 10 out of 24 single pigment colors, and I think on the Holbein set it's less than that. And so once you start mixing them, then the more pigments you put together, the less luminous they all are. It's not necessarily bad because they give you a wide variety of colors, but it's not necessarily good because if you're like me and you want to mix a bunch of colors together, then you oftentimes end up with probably not what you were looking for to begin with. You're a mixer. Okay. So I just looked up and saw you said you're a mixer. So I'll be curious. Give them a shot. Don't pay attention to what I say. I please do your own testing on it, and then let's talk about it. See what you come up with. Honestly, I'm quite curious. Let's see. Jacqueline says you need to know your pigments beforehand. Never mix more than 3. Yeah, right. So once you start mixing 2 and 3 and 4 different colors together, you do run the chance of getting something that's quite muddy. It can happen quite easily. Okay, so I want to pin down this edge with a bit of greenery here, right? I don't know what this is. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me what this is here. It's a green tree-ish thing. They are good at making mud. Sometimes I'm really good at making mud. I will just let you know. I excel from time to time at mud. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, okay. I want to use cobalt blue in my greens instead of ultramarine. Just mixes a better color. Got some darks in here. This thing is just going to grow up and up. Some kind of a bush tree thing here. Oh, I feel like Bob Ross right now. That's just kind of going right up this side. Jen, good. Give them a try. Like I said, don't take my word for it. What do I know? I'm just some guy who spouts off about things, but everybody uses them differently. So they might work for you. Where they didn't work quite the way I wanted to. They are lovely colors, the way they have them mixed, but from time to time, like I said, I just have some trouble with them. I don't know. Does that look tree-ish there? It'll make that look more tree-ish. I don't know why I wanted to put a tree. There are no trees out here anyways. I wanted something to anchor this side. This side is kind of open, but I've got a dark color here, and I wanted a dark color here, and so you would transition across this whole thing. Maybe I accomplished that. Maybe I didn't accomplish that. Not exactly sure, but I put a couple of lines in here. Right, a branch here, a branch here. Something, all of a sudden, that's going to kind of look more like a tree. Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. Bob's fantastic. And so now we come to my least favorite portion of painting. Where I have to actually put in a highlight because I didn't save a highlight for a little bit of water here. All right, that's not doing it. I'm going to do it with my pen. Yeah, Liza, you've played in the mud. Oh, man, my pen isn't working. There it goes. If this is really small back here, this is going to look like it's a mile away. Just a little bit of. You can't even see that, can you? Just a couple of little waves back there, and I don't know how much more I'm gonna do on this. Oh, let's see. Oh my God, I need a if I find one, I'll send it. I'll tell you. You said, Jennifer, you send me a wig I'll wear it, and I'll send you some M-Gram paints. I'll send you a starter pack of M-Gram paints back. How's that? Because I know that they're super expensive for you over there. Not that they're not expensive here, but they're I don't think they're nearly here what they are there. All right, a couple of lines here, right? A couple of sticks to match these ones that we have coming out of here. Can you see those? Oh, you can see those. There you go. Let's see. What else do I need to do? I could add a little bit more here in the front. This might just be playing with things, right? But we can, right? We've got a couple of areas of some dark here. We can. It's a little bit of red in this too. Right? If we put in a couple of lines here and there, it's going to dilute a little bit, and that's fine. But when it dries, it's gonna have some vertical lines. They're red, right? Or they've got a red tint to them, which means it's going to pull this bit in front towards us a little bit, and then and then we'll get a little bit of something in the front of this. And I'm kind of tickled by this. I got to tell you, this makes me laugh. These guys look hysterical. I didn't honestly. I had in my mind a vision on how to do this and what I thought they were going to turn out like. Jennifer Dunn, challenge accepted. Okay, fine, challenge accepted. I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll talk offline, and we'll set that up, and then we'll announce when I'm going to wear the wig. It's gonna be great. Let's see. I've got water everywhere on here. I'm gonna sign. I'll sign. I'll sign this. I don't know where I'm gonna sign this. I sign it right here. There we go. I got it. I have to go back to work now. Okay. I don't want to go. I'll pop in next stream. All right, Jennifer, have a great rest of your day at work, and I look forward to talking to you. You should be tickled because it's a great painting. It's a fun painting. Oh my God. Oh, you know what it needs? Oh God. The only thing it needs. Okay, so how am I going to do this? It needs some shadow. It doesn't need to be a huge amount of shadow, but it does. Right now, we don't have any light source, right? We need a light source. What is Jennifer's YouTube channel? Okay, let's see. I actually think I have it right here. Let's see. Oops. Come on. Well, here, you can get to it here. Copy. Paste, and there you go. Whoop, did you get it? No. There's Jennifer's channel right there. All right, Jennifer, have a good one. We'll talk to you very soon. Let's see. Okay. But we need, okay, I need some kind of a shadow, and I'm going to choose, because it's going to be a little bit easier, I think. I'm going to choose, I kind of have it, I don't know, I think it's kind of coming down this way a little bit. So I'm going to get kind of a brown purpley color, a warm purple color. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? What, Carrie, what's going on? Um, what's Jennifer's YouTube channel? Got that. Jennifer Newman Art All in One. Okay, there you go. Carrie saying nothing reasonably priced over here in Australia when it comes to watercolor stuff. Yeah, that's true. Carrie says Jacqueline's love your message. Jacqueline got it. Liza Carrie Hall. More importantly, can you afford food or utilities? Which I am struggling with most. Liza, I'm not happy about that. I don't want you to. I don't like when anybody struggles with basic necessities. It kind of upsets me. That we're all still kind of struggling with those basic things in life that probably we ought to not be struggling with. Let's see. I'm going to put a little, decide how big this shadow needs to be. Well, this one shouldn't get much over here. Just a little something besides that bush. Just put a little something underneath here and underneath there. Probably need a little something here. That's probably good enough. There we go. That's probably good enough. Like I said, it's not a strong, super strong shadow. You can best see it here with this guy. Little bits here and there. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. You're welcome. I'm I'm happy to do whatever I can do to help make everybody's Wednesday evening enjoyable. Jacqueline says sending positive thoughts. I think we should all do that. Liza, I know you got some from me. You got some from Jacqueline. Let's everybody send her some positive thoughts, some positive energy. And I think I am going to end this here. I'm kind of tickled about it. I'll do a real quick kind of a things I like, things I didn't, things that didn't turn out quite right. To me, we have hope. So for me, I'm looking at it. I like these guys. My bush has got a little big over here. I'm okay with that. You know, nobody's been to visit these guys for quite a while, and something's grown up. And I like to have a way to kind of plant them to the ground rather than just being stuck on the top, right? If they're just stuck on the top, then they're just there. The little bushes around here really help to seed it because we know what a bush is. We know what greenery is. We've all seen green bushes or weeds or whatever you want to call it grow up around everything. So that gives it just that little bit of personal touch that we can associate with, and we notice that, and so it holds it onto the ground for us. The part I'm having a little bit of trouble with is back here. These to me, and when I drew it, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, and now after I've painted it, it looks like these are all slanted up that way, and I wish I had drawn the bottoms of these straighter, more in a step pattern. It would have made them appear to go out in more layers. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with this. I think it just kind of didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. But still all good. I like my tree here anchoring the corner. I'm okay with nothing in this corner. I don't necessarily need to make a V so that you get this, to get his face. These are kind of in a V on their own. And like I said, there's dark, and right in the center of these two is the light spot on this guy's cheek, I guess. So your eye is going to naturally, or should naturally, come right to this guy right here. So the first thing you look at is right there on this guy. And I think he looks fantastic. I'm really happy about the way they turned out. So that's my quick critique on this. I don't even know where to start this time. Thank you all for coming and once again making my Wednesday evening so enjoyable. Carrie, Liza, Jacqueline, Susie, Jennifer, who else was in here? Sherry. I'm scrolling up to find everybody who's here. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm sure I'm going to. Thank you all for joining me, making my Wednesday an enjoyable evening painting paintings with you all. And I hope that you will join me back here next Wednesday in the studio, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, where we're going to have another fun evening of painting something. And I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we'll have a good time with it. Until then, the larger head helps balance. It does. I should have done it even larger, though. Even bigger. Anyways, thank you all for joining me on this Wednesday evening. Take care. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.